it's mad how like this light is like hovering in the sky. It's difficult to pinpoint if it's aurora. I want it to be aurora, but I really don't have enough information. It just feels like it's just like light pollution streaming through. There's somebody on my bus that's a neighbour walking down the road, possibly a Ghanaian man. If we catch each other, we're both walking down doing like a solemn, lonesome. But yeah, man. Got talking of Lola's Cupcakes, and they responded. It's nice to see that you can write some things and they can be received with a welcome receipt of, yeah, we're just trying to do a thing. So the world that Piss Tech exists in is a world that likes to see bacteria eating metal. Is a world that likes to see, whoa. There's like 3 points in the sky in a clear line that I'm sure is Starlink. Hey, sir. I was looking at the... Let's see, so neighbour man has noticed me, so I'm gonna say hi. I'll knock and visit in the future. But it's cool to see that we're neighbours. But yeah, man. I wonder if that might have been the house. Anyway. What's the conversation? Yeah, just trying to, like, what is it? Engineering, imagining stuff that is helpful. Yeah, basically, that's the core of it. Imagining stuff that could be helpful. And then trying to pull together enough of the fragments to be like, alright, cool, here's the simplest version of the thing that I can imagine. Can we try that? So exactly, that definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and expecting a change. But if you do different things differently, well, you know, you're always going to see a change. And so today I have felt not quite resource limited, but like resource precarious, I would say, because early in the day my laptop fell out of my bag, and just before I went to sleep my neck got cricked. So then it just hasn't felt like great, but then it's like an opportunity of what can you do with not feeling great, and that opportunity means setting up some foundations for the range of things. And I think yesterday I had organised a meeting that I want to do next week, which is really helpful to do, whilst finding out some source information to support that. So yesterday and today have been good, like sourcing, platforming, baseline days. And then today has been reaching across, making a phone call, making a meeting, not making a couple of things, but sending over information that helps them act on the thing that they want to do with the information that I have available. Sending a speculative shot out, speaking to a person, having a good lunch, having a nap, watching an episode of Samurai Jack, sleeping for longer than I expected, cancelling a show, meeting with a team and being like, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I'm interested in this, and I need help in this area, but I can do this thing. And this is the unit that we're going for, cool. Theoretically, I know what's happening here and I'm interested in that, cool, let's see what's possible. So that theoretically I know what's happening here, let's see what's possible, is what feeds into the design aspect of, can you do in this world that we exist in? This world that we exist in, for example, you go and you walk past a bin in the morning and the bin has got like 1,000 stickers that say peel here before use. All of those stickers emerge from single-use disposable vapes that have been sold off in the market and then will be taken off the market in like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. So then what does that mean for like what sort of ecosystem set up the environment that meant that you're seeing all of these things just collecting onto the bin as like a form of like waste and decay, and why should that just be the standard? So then what can we do as an alternative to flip that, to then be like, can we not have the stickers firstly? Can we not have the vapes? If that system does exist, what else, like literally what else could it be part of? And then you make a phone call to a friend because you appreciate what they do, and then you're sharing what it is that you're trying to do, and you know that they will be able to help with their perspective and things that they're interested in looking into, and then they let you know that they've heard about some like concrete powder being spoken about as a material that's very similar to soil. And if it's very similar to soil, what does it mean? It means that things could grow in it. So rather than doing like your bang, 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 mega packed concrete asphalt that nothing can penetrate, such as this road material, you don't really need roads this dense. It's all a lie. So we've picked up an avenue that opens up a question as to like, you've got these research groups looking at bacterially synthesizing chemicals that exist in plants, but they're testing them all in inert tubes. So I guess at that point they're thinking about how to avoid contamination that interferes with the process. But context. Some of these bacteria exist in spaces that are not just purified and sterile and without competition. So if you are looking at their functionalization, test them in a mixture that can be situated into a living world, right? Cool. So now we've got that established. We've just identified a question through like two friends talking about what we're generally love and passionate about and curious about. That has opened up a PhD project. I'm doing a PhD and all this. You don't need to do a PhD. You just need to position the right questions and share it with people that are interested and can make time for it. And then the protocol isn't really that complicated, or you can work with one person who loves doing the complicated part, and then you can sit with them as they do the complicated part, and then you might not need to do the complicated part. You keep that as a skilled practice, but you know exactly how to do the complicated part. And then at some point you can automate the complicated part, and you don't even need to do the complicated part because it's happening, but you're making sure that it's doing the right thing. And then you feed it into your world. And so we get away from testing things in these inert chambers, because inert chambers don't translate to the actual environment. Sometimes they do, but inertia is the word that inert belongs in. And that is something. That is something very bright. That's really cool to see. Which direction are we facing? I think that is east. Yeah, that's really bright. That's really fascinating. The sky here is incredible. We're in South Hertfordshire, northwest London, right on the boundary. And what else can you see? Can you see anything else? There's loads of starry objects, but that's the brightest one on this part of it. So try this one for size. Life outside of the big smoke. But man, like today, what's happened? I haven't looked at the news in detail today. I heard that the budget has come out and there's talk about property stamp duties or housing prices. I'll hear in more detail tomorrow when I listen to the news through TDA. They'll be doing their broadcast the day after, the night before, or the day after the New Black, actually. Yeah, the day after TMB. And yeah, what is it? The economic mindset means something. But I had one of these cool passing encounters with somebody in a cafe today where, well, actually two of the guys that work. And I had an interview at this cafe. Well, I dropped in to do a trial shift with them. I made a couple of drinks but didn't make them to the standard. And the drink that they made for me today, the dirty chai, was beautiful. Coconut milk is in the last month I've really tapped into coconut milk being the Don Dada. But yeah, the main scheme for this month, where he is, we're entering into the last day of October, and it definitely is a scary season. But the last day of October starts to help anchor in some, all right, cool, what are we doing and how do we need to do it and how do we want to do it? So that we can do it in a way that is fitting to how we imagine doing what we hope to do. Part of that means requesting space, part of it means requesting specific actions, part of it means providing some specific time, part of it means sending some things, part of it saying I'm opting out of this, part of it saying this is what I'm doing, does it work with what you're trying to propose, and part of it means sleeping, eating, wanting to be more physical, taking time to breathe, taking time to walk slowly, taking time to walk quickly, taking time to, all of that stuff, just good stuff. I've realized that there's a genre of music that I'm invested in, that I care about. It's called air pollution, air conditioning, not pollution, air conditioning. We talk about air conditioning only for indoor spaces, but it is possible to condition the air of your outside spaces or your shared spaces in a audible capacity. So that's something that I'm making space for. And then that opens up another question that can be part of a research question. So yeah, now that we're capturing that line of thought, we'll work out what to do with it and add it to the planner as a, what do you call it? It could be called a work request, it could be called a work package, it could be called a plan of work, it could be called a proposal. I really don't like the proposal thing anymore. I'm tired of it. It's all something I'm working on, and either I'm working on it with the person who's calling out the proposal, or we're working on it. And if you're interested, let's work on it. So I found out that there's a conference happening, I think in the beginning of December, on knowledge graphs with the Turing Institute, and they've got some funding available for part of student travel to get to Scotland. So I'm going to inquire about this. Knowledge graphs have been interesting to me for quite some time. The cool thing about December is that I will be back in my process engineering bag, also designing bag, also just general human with way too ambitious or too imaginative thoughts. But the context switching, or the context spacing, let's call it context spacing, is something that I'm really grateful to be able to tap into as a preferred method, or recognized method. So this is very interesting. You've got three very sparse stars over here, or objects here, and you've got three tight objects over here, and neither of them are Orion, but this one is something else. So we're going to save them for later and come back and do a review. Every time I get home and I'm seeing the celestial hosts. It always brings me some sort of joy and grounding. So let's see, where is that big guy? There they are. And that's the forecast for today. It was meant to be a very brief one. Did I speak about Piss Tech? There's more to do on that. I'll do that in the morning. But right now I've got some images gathered for it, for the world that it lives in. And that's the most important part. Defining the world that something exists in is how you define the world that it contributes to, and then it becomes like the value proposition. But there's also somebody from school that I can get in touch with who's very much in the space that is really assistive. So who knows, it could always be rejected, but it's only spitting, that's what they're only spitting facts. So thank you, good night. I have arrived home. Let me catch up with my folks. Hello. You're listening to the Poisoner.
You choose what to hear.
Yeesh. I guess it's it lets you know how to yeah, doing what do you call it, a video diary.